2 defensive players on the interior that weighed over 300 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Today they have 5. 5 defensive tackles that weigh 300 pounds. Why do I bring that up? I bring that up because they have built a 2-deep, 3-deep of interior defensive linemen that can all play. And I think this year's recruiting class, in the 2026 class, as it stands right now, is a continuation of that. They have built this defensive line to compete in the SEC. And Teron Richardson and Brian Harris and the rest of the defensive linemen that they're going to bring in 2026 is just an extension of that. So when I look at Teron Richardson and I ask, what is he going to bring? I don't know if he's going to ever be a starter in his entire 4 years. What I can tell you this is he's going to be another 300-pound body that's going to be able to play because he's good. I mean, look at Grayson Halton. Grayson Halton still is not a number 1 on the 2-deep. Nobody doubts that Grayson Halton can play. And the value that he brings is because they've got 2, 3, 4, 5 deep that they can all throw out there, and they're going to be a clog in the middle.
To your point, Grayson Halton is widely regarded as a future NFL draft pick, a defensive cornerstone for Oklahoma in 2025. He's a team captain.
Yes.
And he's going to be on the field and making plays a ton for Oklahoma. Do you know how many games he's started in his Oklahoma career?
It's got to be less than 7.
3. He has started 3 games, which speaks to the reality that particularly in the SEC, you have got to have at least 3 or 4 bodies at defensive tackle that you are capable of rolling out there. And Oklahoma is really fortunate right now to have 4 of them in Jaden Jackson, Dominic Williams, David Stone, and, of course, Halton himself, that they are going to be able to deploy at will throughout the 2025 season. And who knows? Maybe Marcus Strong jumps into the rotation. Maybe Nigel Smith jumps into the rotation. Maybe Trent Wilson or Ricky Lolohea winds up earning a few snaps here and there. But it's really about those top 4, Jackson, Stone, Williams, and Halton. 2 of those guys are not going to trot out there with the starting 11 on a weekly basis for Oklahoma, but they're still foundational, right? Absolutely foundational to the success of this defense.
Absolutely. I mean, think back to what Alabama was running out, 5-6 years ago. Jonathan Allen, Daron Payne, they weren't always starters. Those dudes are hell of football players in the NFL now. Quinnen Williams fits into that as well. So what Oklahoma and Brent Venables has done, and you got to give Todd Bates some credit here too, is they have built this thing perfectly for the SEC. And I got to give them credit for that because coming off of the last few years of Lincoln Riley where it was offense, there was reasonable doubt that can Oklahoma pivot and build this thing and reshape its identity and foundation to something that works in the SEC. And to their credit, as it stands right now, they have done that.
Very strong class for Todd Bates if he can land Richardson today and pair him with Brian Harris and Tank Carrington, Oklahoma's 2 current commits at defensive tackle. Let me ask you this. When you look at Oklahoma's 2026 class as it is currently composed, let's say they ostensibly put the finishing touches on their D-tackle class today. What remains to be done? Where could the Sooners still afford to add a body or 2?
Well, I think there's only one answer left, and that's wide receiver.
Yeah.
They only got 1 right now.
That is true. That is the most conspicuous area of need, no question.
That's kind of a problem. Now, if you want to add another linebacker, which that might be where you wanted me to go with that, given recent news that 1 committed linebacker is going to be making a visit during the Michigan game to Oklahoma. But to me, it's still wide receiver. I don't think you can complete this class and only have Daniel Odom as your lone receiver in that group. You got to pull off the flip for, at minimum, Braden Allen, in my opinion.
And we talked extensively yesterday about the Xavier Okufulueze situation. Might there be something afoot there?
That name's just running off the tongue, isn't it?
Yeah, we shall see. I don't anticipate he'll pick up the offer this weekend, but could he be a guy that Oklahoma pulls the trigger on come end of September once they see some of his junior year film, yeah, there's absolutely a world in which that could happen. But you mentioned linebacker. And it is the case, as you touched on there, that 3-star Northwestern commit Jacob Curry is going to take an official visit the weekend of the Michigan game. We've been talking about this for several weeks in great detail over at OUinsider.com, which is the place to be, folks, especially if you want all the recruiting scoop and all the team scoop that we're providing for members every single day over there. But I like where Oklahoma has positioned themselves in the effort to flip Jacob Curry. I think it is as simple as this. If Oklahoma wins, if Oklahoma impresses, if Oklahoma takes care of business on September 6th when the Wolverines come to town, I think Jacob Curry flips, and flips pretty quickly. And at that point, he's the third linebacker in Oklahoma's 2026 cycle. Pairing, of course, with Bo Jandro out of Chandler, Arizona, and with Ja'Cory Smith out of Bryant, Arkansas. So, that's a possibility on the table. Let me ask you this. What about offensive line? Are you content? Do you feel this fan base should be content with just a pair of offensive line commits in Noah Best and Deacon Schmidt?
Not really. Now, I say the not really on the heels of the fact that you did sign Michael Vasusi and Ryan Foje last class. And I think that limits you in terms of the caliber of dudes that are going to want to come in here and play behind those dudes. So, to me, that's just a natural part of, hey, we signed 2 big-name 5-stars. Not everybody's going to want to come right behind them and try to outwork them and jump them on the depth chart. That makes a lot of sense. To me, it is slightly concerning. It's slightly concerning that you're only going to have 2. But I do think in the 2025 class, you signed your cornerstones. And if anything, if Oklahoma has proven anything, they can go out and get a dude to put the finishing touches on it. They did it with Jake Michaela. We'll see if Jake Michaela ends up being a factor this season on the field, or if Troy Everett holds him off for the entire season. And they also did it with Derek Simmons. So Oklahoma has proven, and Bill Bedenbaugh has the reputation to be able to go out and get another dude or two to offset a smaller class. That's why I'm not too worried about it, but it's understandable if you're not satisfied by it.
Let's take a look at Oklahoma's depth chart from yesterday. And let's look specifically at the offensive linemen. You have 3 co-starters at left tackle. You have 3 co-starters at right tackle.
Mm-hmm.
You have 3 guys listed at left guard, 3 at right guard, 3 at center. So 15 total offensive linemen on the initial depth chart for Oklahoma. The Sooners have 16 scholarship offensive linemen. The only 2 scholarship offensive linemen that are not listed on the initial depth chart, because Gunnar Allen, though not a scholarship player, is listed as Oklahoma's third-string right tackle. The only 2 scholarship players that aren't listed on the initial depth chart are 2 guys that have been hurt and have not practiced. One of them hasn't practiced at all. One of them has barely practiced at Oklahoma this offseason, and that's true freshman Darius Afalava, who has not practiced at all, and then redshirt freshman Isaiah Autry-Dent, who underwent a knee procedure in May, as I understand it, and has been off and on in terms of his availability throughout fall camp. So those 2 are not on the initial depth chart, mostly due to physical concerns and ailments. But you have 14 scholarship offensive linemen listed on your depth chart. Of those 14, 4 are graduating seniors: Simmons, Sexton, Troy Everett, Fabechi Wiwu. 3 are juniors in Luke Baklenko, Jake Taylor, and Jake Michaela. So 9 of your 16 are underclassmen. And so to me, what that suggests is that there's not a need for Oklahoma to go get another offensive lineman. I think at this point, what you can plan on is Yeah, okay, you're probably taking an offensive lineman in the portal. You're probably taking an experienced tackle, I would say. Tackle specifically because there's just such good depth right now for Oklahoma on the interior. And yes, you will lose Wee-Woo, you will lose Everett, but you got some guys tailor-made to jump into the lineup next year. Eddie Pierre-Louis, Ryan Foje, for instance. I think there's going to be a case to be made for Owen Hollenbeck as well. And then, of course, Michaela, assuming it is Everett's gig throughout 2025, you'd expect that upon his graduation, Jake Michaela, as a senior, is your starting center in 2026. But I think there's going to be a case for Owen Hollenbeck. I'd be surprised if he doesn't make a little bit of a push there. But it seems like you have a bunch of guys that are ready to inherit greater responsibility on the interior. And so I think tackle is going to be probably the spot at which you want to take an experienced dude. Perhaps to start, perhaps just to provide depth. Because I think the outcome that everybody would be most satisfied with in 2026 is Michael Fasusi is your starting left tackle, and let's say Logan Howland or Isaiah Autry-Dent is your starting right tackle. You would like for it to be one of those combinations, I think. But you also don't want to get into a situation where you're one injury away from really having to shuffle the deck, because that's kind of what happened for Oklahoma a season ago when they didn't have anybody that could play left guard, nobody that was ready to play left guard. They had to move Jacob Sexton in, and once Jacob Sexton slid inside, Michael Tarquin was the only guy that could play left tackle, and so you had to move him from right tackle to left tackle, and here you go, you're throwing Logan Howland in at right tackle, and he's not ready and probably didn't expect to play as soon as he did. So you want to have a guy that has done it before at a high level. Doesn't necessarily have to be a P4 guy, because I think as we've seen with Derek Simmons, you can go find a really good offensive lineman from the FCS or the G5 ranks, but you want to have multiple solutions to whatever problems could realistically arise throughout the season.
No, that's very true. And at offensive line, that's a position where multiple problems can arise, demanding multiple solutions. I want to get to this on the text line, though, because somebody's calling you out, Parker.
Oh, boy, here we go.
One-star Cole in Claremore says, I can literally go find multiple video snippets of Parker saying taking two offensive linemen in 21 or 22 was part of why our line stunk last year. I mean, needless to say, they were also pretty banged up last year, too.
Yeah, okay. First off, Cole and Claremore, if you can go find those video snippets, by all means do so, because I'm not convinced they exist. And listen, I spend no fewer than 20 hours on a weekly basis talking on the record into a microphone about OU football, so I can't keep track of everything I've said over the last 5 years, but I don't recall saying or insinuating that. Now, was Oklahoma's class numbers-wise probably not what it could have been in the 2022 cycle, especially in which they only took Jacob Sexton and Jake Taylor? Sure, but that was a situation that couldn't really be helped with the turnover on staff and really just the reality that you had greater needs at that point than offensive line that you had to address. By the way, one of the guys that Oklahoma took in that class, in that cycle, not from the high school ranks, but from the transfer portal, was a guy by the name of Tyler Guyton, who wound up being a first-round NFL draft pick. So, again, it's not just about what you take out of the high school ranks if you can go find guys like that in the transfer portal who are young and moldable, and maybe there are occasions where you just kind of need a ready-made guy like Derek Simmons is to fill a role for a year. But if you can go find a Tyler Guyton in the transfer portal, that'll help you offset whatever numerical shortcomings you might have.
The realist says, Parker now going back and deleting all the videos.
There are too many. I don't even bother. That's shit. And that comes up sometimes. Somebody's like, well, you said this. I'm like, I don't remember saying this. And then they'll show me the receipts. I'm like, well, okay, but I guess I did say that. Genuinely, folks, I cannot keep track of everything I've said with how much time I spend on the record talking about OU football. But I do try to be intellectually honest and consistent with everything I say, and I do not recall saying, because I do not recall thinking, that a small class in 2022, numbers-wise, contributed to Oklahoma's lack of strength on the offensive line in 2024. Obviously, the main reason why Oklahoma wasn't strong up front last season was because everybody was hurt. 405-651-3439 is the Knippelmeyer's Chevrolet text line. Please hit us up. Fire your questions at us. OU Training Camp Talk is brought to you by ROI Real Estate, owned and managed by Isaac Christian. Isaac and his team have over 25 years of experience in the real estate industry. Check them out at roi-re.com. More OU football talk and recruiting talk lies ahead here on The Ref, the home of Sooner fans. Keep it right here.
What are you waiting for? If you're anything like me, that question keeps you up at night. So don't wait for someone else's green light. Do the things you love right now at Moore Norman Tech. We'll get you out of the classroom and into the real world with hands-on experience in whatever feeds your fire. So get after it. Oklahoma needs more doers, and doers don't wait. Moore Norman Tech, powered by Oklahoma Career Tech.
Now that open enrollment for healthcare coverage has ended, there's still several options to consider that just might benefit you. Need to purchase your own health insurance? Confused about Medicare? Considering offering benefits to your employees? Call the agents at Allison Insurance, featuring 70-plus years of combined insurance business experience. They're able to help clients avoid mistakes when purchasing individual or group health insurance. Call Allison Insurance at 800-580-5587 or 745-2968. They are the experts.
Back to school means back to your favorite casino.
And Riverwind jackpots are back in session. Win with a spin on all your favorite electronic games.
Take your hand to the next level in our premier poker room.
Keep the good times rolling every Friday in August with your wild card.
And play for your share of the $200,000 Under Neon birthday giveaway.
And celebrate 19 years with the best food, drinks, and service in the metro.
Only at Riverwind Casino.
The year 2019, we went on a family vacation and we went to an amusement park. And when you're a smoker, a lot of walking, that doesn't really mix. So I found myself being really winded and out of shape. And it was like, I'm too young for this. I wanted to use the Oklahoma Tobacco Helpline because I knew that I could get resources for free. It was a key part to my success in quitting smoking.
Visit us at okhelpline.com to get started. A program of TSET.
With OG&E's Energy Efficiency Program, we'll provide the blueprint for lowering your bill and increasing your comfort. Whether it's tuning heat and air units, caulking and weather stripping drafty doors and windows, insulating your attic, or connecting you with valuable rebates, you'll improve efficiency and save money with no out-of-pocket costs. Learn more at oge.com/efficiency. At OG&E, we energize life.
Hi, this is Peggy Doviak of DM Wealth Management, and we've been working with the residents of Norman for over 20 years as we help them solve questions about their cash flow, retirement savings, or tax planning. We also offer portfolio management solutions to help people meet their financial goals. We would love to help you plan your prosperity. Check us out at dmwealth.com.
Back to school means back to routines, and seeing a Norman Regional doctor should be one of them. Sports physicals, wellness visits, sick care, chronic condition management for the kids and for you. Norman Regional has primary care clinics across South Central Oklahoma, so don't wait until someone's sick. Start the school year off strong with a family medicine provider who can treat everyone. Find your family doctor by calling 405-515-5000 or book an appointment online at normanregional.com.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Recruiting Boomer on the text line said, Parker and Trump have something in common. Can't remember anything they said. That won't be controversial on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet.
Hey, Recruiting Boomer, you have an agreement in at least one person.
405-651-3439 is how you chime in on the text line in today's show. I probably shouldn't have done that. Mentioned a political figure in a text. We get those texts all the time.
I wish you'd read more of them sometimes.
I don't want infighting on the text line, and Lord knows there will be infighting if we get too deep down the political rabbit hole.
Yeah, you don't, but I'm here for it.
So Colin Claremore followed up and said, so if you missed the conversation last segment, he said, I can literally go find multiple video snippets of Parker saying taking 2 and 21 or 22 was part of why our line stunk last year. He followed up and said, I don't blame you for not remembering, of course, but it's just a headache to have agreed with that take, and now you no longer believe in it, regardless if you remember it or not. If I said that, and I'm not doubting you, Colin Claremore, I just don't have any explicit recollection of it. I don't know what my thought process would have been at the time, because I think when you reflect, when you go back and you look at what actually unfolded in the 2022 recruiting cycle, what could Bill Bedenbaugh and Oklahoma have done? They lost a commitment from Demetrius Hunter amidst the staff turnover. He wound up signing with Houston. I have not heard his name since. I don't know if he's turned out to be a good player or not. Lost track of the kid. His nickname was Pancake. I remember that. Pancake Hunter. They went down to the wire with Texas for DJ Campbell that cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, speaking of pancakes, it was Texas's pancake factory that helped the Longhorns knock off Oklahoma in that battle. So it wasn't for lack of effort that Oklahoma only wound up with 2 offensive linemen. And again, that was the same offseason where they went and landed Tyler Guyton out of the transfer portal. And so, look, sometimes you just lose on the recruiting trail. It happens. It even happens to Bill Bedenbaugh. Sometimes you lose. Bill Bedenbaugh he's had cycles where he won a lot. He's had cycles where he lost a lot. I've mentioned this before. I don't know that I have ever seen quite as large of a freak out over the addition of a recruit than when Oklahoma landed Heath Ozida. People were losing their ever-loving minds, Grayson Singleton. Because, and I forget what all had happened in that cycle. You deal with so many names. I can't recall who all they were in the mix for in 2023 that didn't wind up as Sooner. Peyton Kirkland was one of them. Kirkland was one of them. Yeah, you know what? That actually might have been it. That might have been it. They decided not to take Peyton Kirkland. And Bill Bedenbaugh heading on up to Snoqualmie, Washington to offer this ginger kid named Heath Ozida, who was a 3-star, and everybody lost their mind over it.
Heath Ozida's turned out to be a pretty decent player.
They said we went from Peyton Kirkland, blue chipper from down in Orlando, Florida, in the palm of our collective hand at Oklahoma, and now we're pivoting to a ginger kid from Washington who basically insta-committed as soon as he got the OU offer. Clearly, he's not that good. And folks, if you followed the trajectory of those 2 players' careers to this point, Heath Ozida is going to be Oklahoma's starting left guard on Saturday as a true freshman. Or not as a true freshman, as a redshirt sophomore after starting quite a bit as a redshirt freshman last year. Peyton Kirkland has gone from Texas to Colorado, to Miami of Ohio, to UAB, and to the best of my knowledge has never played a snap of college football.
Funny how stuff works, isn't it?
Ain't it?
Isn't it really?
Colin Claremore says, just check the commit list. Would have been the 21 class that we only took 2 total, plus the transfer Wanye Morris. Gosh, who was – it was Savion Byrd and Colin Montgomery.
Savion Byrd, who is going to be the starting left tackle at SMU this year.
Yes, he is. He turned out all right. Didn't really work for him at OU. He played a little bit towards the beginning of the 2023 season at guard, but did not have a ton of success, did not have a ton of impact at Oklahoma. Now, maybe this is what you're referring to, Colin Claremore. I come back to this from time to time. And I think this is, like, for whatever reason, Bill Bedenbaugh is fantastic at his job. I and many others consider him the premier offensive line coach in college football. So, it feels somewhat wrong to sit here and criticize some of his evals because he has forgotten more about football than you and I will ever know. He's a football genius, and everybody that's worked with him will attest to that. But I have no idea what he saw in Colin Montgomery, man. I had no idea at the time what he saw in the kid. I have no idea now what he saw in the kid. That take made absolutely no sense to me. And, like, for whatever reason, it's just there's always that one guy every few years for Bedenbaugh. The guy that it's like, I really can't figure why he likes him. Remember Finley Felix? Of course you don't. Does anybody remember Finley Felix?
His first name's Finley. That tells me everything I need to know.
Hey, don't diss Finleys. We might have a Finley listening somewhere.
My
I'm
bad.
sorry if that offends anyone's sensibilities. If you or a relative is named Finley, rest assured we do not hold it against you here on the show.
But do you see that many offensive linemen named Finley?
Oh, my gosh. Oh, two people fired in the exact same text
I was
at
wondering
the exact same time.
I was wondering how long it was going to take you to see
Oh,
that.
my goodness. A listener from the 580 and a listener from the 405.
I'm so surprised it took you that long to see this because I've been trying to get to this for the last 30 seconds.
They said Pancake Hunter is also Devon Mitchell's nickname. These jokes are never going to die,
No,
man.
they're not.
They and the Trey Maguire junk jokes, they are never going to die.
Okay, if you're Trey Maguire, though, you don't deserve for those jokes to die.
Oh, no, you don't. No, you don't. I mean, look, you get out what you put in. So you indecently expose yourself, there will be jokes made at your expense for years and decades to come.
You kind of did that one to yourself.
If you eat yourself out of a roster spot at the University of Oklahoma, which that's a very oversimplified depiction of the whole Devon Mitchell situation. There was a lot that went into it, obviously. But when that's the outward perception of what happened is your weight ballooned out of control to the point where they couldn't put you on the field, and so you left, then that's going to be kind of like Mo Dampier, right? Like that's always going to be the Mo Dampier story amongst Oklahoma fans, and that's always going to be the Devon Mitchell story amongst Oklahoma fans.
Well, and speaking of, weighing too much to get onto the field, did you see that former defensive tackle from Florida that Tampa Bay drafted?
Desmond Watson.
They cut him too. He did not practice all of training camp because they're like, you have to get below like 400 or whatever.
Wasn't he just walking laps around the field during practice?
Yes. And he never got his weight down and never practiced in training camp and got cut the other day.
I'm sure he got paid a decent amount for the steps he put in, though. There are worse gigs.
This is a fair point.
Gunny Stutzman always said, that's what Trey said. You get what you pull out. Gunny, come on now. It's a little bit of a stretch, first off. Secondly, let's leave the Trey Maguire jokes for the rush. They were cracking Trey Maguire jokes on the rush yesterday.
Were they really?
I was listening in as I was stopping for an acai bowl, which was delicious. I hadn't had an acai bowl in like 5 years.
I haven't had one since I was in college.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like, it's a thing when you're in college.
Uh-huh.
When you're an adult, there's less opportunities where it makes sense for you to go purchase yourself an acai bowl. But I had some time to kill. I was like, you know what? An acai bowl sounds great. I'm going to go get myself an acai bowl. So I did. I got an acai bowl and a haircut. It was fantastic. But I was listening to The Rush on my way to Surf Bar, and the text line was cracking Trey Maguire jokes.
Stop, Weston Sooner.
Oh, no. The text line's getting tawdry. Chris from Knoxville says, that was the first time I've been able to laugh over the last 48 hours. Thank you, whoever texted that in. Text line is rounding into form as the season approaches. Hey, that's when we expect you guys to be at your best, is in season. So, hey, as week 1 arrives, I love to see the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line stepping up its collective game. You guys are great. And 405 listener says, I have a grandson named Finley. Don't be hating because it's a good name.
Okay, my bad.
Reformed Homer says, my dad was named Finley. I'm out of here. Mojo Bo says, Finley is a girl's name.
Finley is
it's unisex.
Finley is a unisex
As
name.
the owner of a unisex name, I can speak authoritatively on the matter.
You just normally don't see them as offensive linemen. That's all I was getting at.
I guess Grayson.
My apologies.
I guess Grayson is a unisex name,
Grayson
too.
is kind of a unisex
depends
name
on
now,
the spelling. Depends on the spelling.
Well, no, I've known females who have my same spelling.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
My name only has one spelling.
Your name does only have one spelling unless people try to get too cute with it.
Which happens these days.
Uh-huh.
Like people just substituting Y's in for vowels in perfectly normal names. Oh, here's a Y.
Yeah, the EY being substituted for the EIGH, like on Kaylee or something like that.
yes.
Like, there's nothing wrong with it, by the way, but that's one example of that.
It provides a certain artistic flair.
Yes. A text from the 214 said, Parker, can you stop saying acai?
Do you not like the word acai? Is it like How I Met Your Mother where Lily gets triggered by the word moist?
See, now I got triggered by the way. I usually don't, but I got triggered by the way you just said it.
The face this man made when I said moist.
Why did you say it like that?
A 214 listener spelled my name with 3 Ks. Nope.
Nope.
Enough of that.
Nope, not doing that one.
Outlaw Devil decided to try my name with a QU instead of a K. That's sure interesting.
A text from the 405 says, I heard Trey McGuire transferred to Longwood. Is this true?
Oh, they're on a roll.
What?
They are on a roll. 405 listener says, Grayson has one of those sneaky athletic names.
I have for somebody who is as dark-skinned as I am, I have the whitest full name on planet Earth.
Grayson Singleton.
I haven't told
Sir
you.
Grayson Singleton.
I haven't even told you my middle name either, which makes it even worse.
Oh, boy. We'll have to get to the bottom of that at some point. Brian from Maryland says, Parkour. That would be a cool name. I've never wanted to name my son after myself, but if I did, maybe I would just name him Parker with an OU. Parkour.
Please don't do that.
Okay, I won't do that.
Don't do that.
That was mostly in jest. Outlaw Devil says, hearing Parker say moist was not on my bingo card.
Why do you emphasize the OI so much? Like, you just drag that. I don't know if it's the dialect from where you're from or something, but, like, why? Like, it's just,
Listen,
it's just moist.
I'm from Nebraska. There is no dialect. There's famously no dialect
it's just,
whatsoever.
It's just moist, not moist, the way you drag it out. Lucky Enough says eating ostrich ass was ultimately Devon Mitchell's downfall.
Okay, we're taking a break. We need to hear from our sponsors, and I need to get my wits about me. Okay, folks. 405.
By the way, his face is red as hell right now.
405-651-3439. I haven't laughed this hard at the text line in a solid minute. It is football season. Keep hitting us up on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. We'll be back to wrap up Locked In here next on the Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
The word is spreading, and the Ref Army is growing. Keep telling your friends and family that there's only one station for true Sooner fans, and that's the Ref Radio Sports Network, and worldwide on the KREF app.
Sidelined by injury? Valor Physical Therapy and H2 Health Company can help. Our therapists use their knowledge and skills to help get you back in the game faster. Book your appointment now at valorpt.com or call 405-609-3637. No referral needed. Mention the Ref and get a free t-shirt at your first appointment. That's valorpt.com.
Buffalo Wild Wings is now hiring for their brand new state-of-the-art remodeled store for the Moore location. Stop by the Moore location from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily and apply now. Competitive pay, team member discounts, incentive contests, insurance options, and flexible scheduling. This is the perfect opportunity for you or someone you know needing a job. With training starting soon, Now is the time to apply at Buffalo Wild Wings in Moore. Stop by today from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Life is yours to spend. Spend it expanding your balance. Spend it expanding your mind. Spend it wondering what comes next. Spend it trusting that God has a plan. Spend it taking small steps in your own life. Spend it making a big impact on someone else's. First United Bank. Spend life wisely.
Sooner Nation, are you ready? Football season is here, and new arrivals are landing daily at Balfour of Norman from your favorite brands. Whether you're dressing for game day, setting up the perfect tailgate, or hosting the ultimate watch party, we've got everything you need. Live from historic Campus Corner in Norman, Oklahoma. Shop Balfour of Norman, your home of everything Sooner. Shop in store or online at crimsonproud.com.
Lake Crest Casino and Hotel is the perfect getaway in Ardmore, Oklahoma, where fun, comfort, and entertainment all come standard. Stay in our luxurious 89-room hotel or treat yourself to our resort-style pool with outside bar, enjoy fine dining in our restaurant, or try your luck in our casino. The Oasis Boutique offers something for everyone. Plan your next getaway at Ardmore's newest destination for luxury, excitement, and unforgettable fun at lakecrestcasino.com or call 580-222-2910.
Being a family member's caregiver can be rewarding and challenging. Besides taking an emotional and physical toll, it can also take a real financial toll. Find out if you're eligible to get paid for the care you provide at the AARP Foundation Paid for Care Hub. Developed with support from United Healthcare, this free online tool can help you search compensation programs and explore your options. Go to paidforcare.aarpfoundation.org to learn more.
Around the world, Children International and friends like you are giving children in poverty a chance to thrive by helping ensure access to healthcare, nutrition, and educational opportunities, and support on their path to employment. Because every child deserves a chance to realize their full potential. Learn more about Children International by going to children.org today.
Hi, this is Martina McBride. With online news, social media, and texting available 24/7, the world seems to be spinning faster and faster every day. And it can be overwhelming. Sometimes we just need to unplug and take a break from our electronic devices. It can help reduce stress and allow us to reflect on the things that are really important in our lives.
This message brought to you courtesy of the United States Air Force.
Oh, thanks for hanging with us on this moist Tuesday afternoon across the state of Oklahoma.
You know, if you knew how to say that word correctly, I would be inclined
say
to
it
agree
correctly.
with you.
Don't start this with me. I'm from Nebraska. We enunciate better than anyone in the entire country.
Okay, that you do have over me, being a native Texan, where we enunciate absolutely nothing.
Yeah, see, I've gotten around, like, when I first showed up and when I first started covering football in the state of Oklahoma, I hadn't adopted the regional dialect yet. So, for instance, I would say Bixby, very proper-like. But you hang around with enough people who call it Bigsby.
Bigsby?
Yeah, you just wind up calling it Bigsby.
Which I don't.
I'm gradually becoming an Oklahoman. I would say the last 2 years have gone a long way towards incorporating some of that regional dialect into my vernacular. A 918 listener would like to know if your middle name is Francis.
My middle name is not Francis.
Okay. We'll keep guessing.
Do you just want to know it at this point?
Sure, if you want to disclose
Yeah, I
that.
mean,
you don't have to. But I don't think anybody's going to steal your identity.
I mean, at this point, I don't really care. But, I mean, no, it's Leonard.
Leonard?
Lenard.
There was an NBA player in the early 2000s named Vashon. I think he pronounced it Leonard, but it was just like that, Leonard. Vashon Leonard Played for the Nuggets, played for the Heat. It's the first thing I thought of when you mentioned that that's your middle name. But there you go. Now we know. Now, if you want to steal Grayson's identity, you're like a third of the way there. Now you just got to figure out his social security number and credit card information. Reformed Sooner says, game week, and this is what we're talking about? Hey, listen, we're having fun. I'm allowed to have fun on these airwaves. We're all allowed to have fun. And we have fun together. By the way, I noticed this on Twitter today, scrolling through. And we will get back to OU football talk here in just a second. Grok is an ally. I never thought I would have reason to commend Grok because I despise AI just like Steely. But I posted an exclusive VIP story at OUinsider.com earlier today. I tweeted the link to said story from my personal Twitter account. In the replies, someone commented, at Grok, what information is this article referring to? Trying to use AI to get behind the paywall. And Grok's response? The article by Parker Thune on On3's OU Insider discusses the Oklahoma Sooners potentially entering late in the recruitment of a highly athletic 2026 prospect with a campus visit lined up. However, the full details, including the prospect's name, are behind a paywall. Based on recent recruiting news, it may refer to defensive lineman Teron Richardson, who has OU interest and announces his commitment today. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. But I can't confirm without full access. Check On3 for the complete story. Thank you, Grok.
So either Grok is a homie, or even Grok can't get bust through that paywall.
For today and today only, I consider Grok a homie. Folks, if you don't like the paywall dynamic, I'm sorry. It's just, listen, I got to pay the bills in order to do this job. Otherwise, I'm going to be out in the oil field. All right? So that's why the paywall exists. Just like paying a newspaper subscription back in the old days, which nobody whined about. And honestly, OUinsider.com membership is a lot cheaper than newspapers were, even back then. Okay, 405-651-3439. A 405 listener asks, what else are we going to talk about? Illinois State prep? Brent Venables cracked a little joke at our expense at his press conference today. It took 35 minutes for anyone to ask about Illinois State. Shout out to my guy James D. Jackson from Sooners Illustrated on 24/7 Sports for being the first to ask an Illinois State question. So Brent was like, y'all complain about how long the opening statement is, huh? I've been standing up here for 35 minutes and haven't gotten a single question about our actual opponent this weekend. But that's kind of just how it goes when you're playing Illinois State. Come Auburn week, for instance. Oh, you know what the absolute first question is going to be in Brent Venables' Auburn week press conference. You know what? We should turn this into a betting game. This might be borderline illegal. I don't know. In terms of the legality of wagers, I'm going to need some legal counsel just to ensure I'm not crossing any lines. But it would be fun to try and place wagers on what the first question of every Brent Venables press conference is going to be, week to week.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
I don't either. Guarantee you, absolutely 100% mortal lock guarantee you, that the very first question, the week of the Auburn game, pertains to Jackson Arnold.
Oh, yeah. That's easy.
Jake from Wisconsin says, no offense, Parker, but I don't think you could make it in the oil fields. You're more of a news/weatherman. What's that supposed to mean?
Weatherman is an interesting one.
588 says, it's pronounced Oldfield.
You know what's funny about the Southern dialect to me is that we can see letters that clearly make one sound and be like, nah, screw that.
Yeah, no joke.
Like
Miami?
Yeah. Or even go back to your Bixby analogy.
Bigsby?
That's an X there, not a GS.
405 Zane says, I'd pay to see Parker in the oil field. Puerto Rican Sooner says, Parker in the oil field would be a sight to see. You don't think I could hang in the oil field?
I guess they don't.
Listen, folks. I've worked blue-collar jobs in my life. For many, many years I did.
Somebody thinks you can do water transfer.
Listen, I may not be a beefy, muscled-up, 225-pound man's man. Me and Kobe McKenzie are not the same specimen. But I am no sissy. By the way, we spent all of last segment laughing, and somehow we didn't even touch the fact that Jackson Arnold has an NIL deal with Dude Wipes. Which,
yeah,
at this point, homie better play well, because if he doesn't, the jokes at his expense are going to be vicious.
My Lord. I mean, it's gonna
vicious.
It's gonna be up there with the jokes that we just unleashed last segment. I mean, okay, but I will say this to his defense. The Dude Wipes do have some sort of usefulness, though. I mean, I don't have them, but
you don't buy Dude Wipes?
No.
Will you buy Dude Wipes now that they're endorsed by Jackson Arnold?
No. No.
Okay, well.
Unless it's shoes. I've never bought a product strictly because a specific person endorsed it.
See, that's very true. I'm kind of the same. Like, I don't question that celebrity endorsements do influence people to make purchasing decisions.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, regardless of who is voicing an advertisement, it's got to be, oh, I need that, or, oh, I want that. It's got to be about the product, right?
Like, I'm not going to go buy those, what is it, American Eagle? I'm not going to go buy American Eagle jeans just because Sydney Sweeney did a commercial on them.
Well, there is a significant percentage of the male population in America that does not share that perspective.
Clearly.
And that's why she makes the kind of money that she does.
Uh-huh. One star Puerto Rican Sooner says you have soft hands.
I have soft hands?
Yeah.
I have soft hands? Talking about me or Jackson Arnold? Weston Sooner says, when you crap your pants in the pocket, rely on Dude Wipes to clean up the mess. Yep, there are going to be lots of those jokes. Puerto Rican Sooner says, yeah, Dude Wipes are useful, unlike Jackson. Okay, don't be mean. I am curious to know. Like, I am curious to know, because I don't know whether we've had this exact conversation yet. What is your feeling as an Oklahoma fan on Jackson Arnold in the aftermath? Like, are you going to root for Jackson Arnold in 2025? Are you going to hate watch Jackson Arnold in 2025? Are you wildly indifferent to what happens for Jackson Arnold at Auburn in 2025? I genuinely like to know.
I think most fans, believe it or not, are going to be indifferent to it. I think when it, especially once that Auburn game comes to pass, I think they're going to be indifferent. They'll keep an eye on it just to see. But if Jackson Arnold goes off and, throws for 3,500 yards and takes care of the football, I don't think anybody's life is going to be any worse. Because I think John Mateer is going to be better. I think Oklahoma, and I've learned this about the fan base, their mood goes as Oklahoma goes. So whatever's going on in Auburn, Alabama, will play second, third, fourth fiddle to what happens with Oklahoma, probably in conjunction with what happens with Texas. That's going to be on top of mind.
What time does that Texas-Ohio State game kick this weekend?
11 a.m.
It's an 11 a.m. kick?
Hey, YouTube TV and Fox, get your you-know-what together, by the way.
Yeah, no joke, man. This is why we need to just go back to cable. What was wrong with cable? Why did we have to screw up cable? Cable was one of the greatest modern innovations that humankind has ever contrived. Every single channel known to man, accessible in one convenient package, and you took it away from us in favor of streaming services? I don't even know how many streaming services my wife is subscribed to. It's a lot of them.
Does she watch all of them?
Oh, no, of course not.
Okay.
I can't remember the last time. Like, for instance, I know we have a Peacock subscription. I can't recall the last time I saw her watching something on Peacock.
That'll come around whenever the next season of Love Island comes out.
I use Hulu because our live TV is on Hulu.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it. Like, I don't even really use Netflix.
No HBO Max?
No HBO Max.
Not a Hard Knocks guy?
No, I've never gotten much into Hard Knocks, honestly.
Okay. Fair enough.
I wait for the actual season.
No Game of Thrones, nothing like that?
No Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Not my speed.
Okay.
Not my speed. But yeah, if I just had Hulu, I think I could be content. Might get the hankering every now and again to like rewatch Parks and Rec or something. Should buy a couple months of Peacock or whatever. I guess it is Peacock that Parks and Rec is on.
Yeah.
Oh, just bring back cable. Why did you people have to strip us of cable? Everything is a streaming service now, and I hate it.
You're starting to sound more and more like Steely.
I know, I really am.
Every single day.
I really am. Whenever the day comes that Steely hangs up the headset for good, I think I might be in line to take the mantle as the old man of the station, even though I will not be the oldest man at the station at that point. I'm a little bit anachronistic. I accept that.
Jim in Arlington, a lot of people on the text line think you're too bougie for the oil field. But Jim in Arlington said, so Parker, when are you going to buy a Cybertruck? I can see you in one.
The Cybertrucks aren't like those the Elon trucks, right? Like the ones that everybody defaces the Cybertrucks. They're like the Cybertrucks. Yeah, I'm not going to drive a truck that people want to damage, regardless of what their reasons are. Like if my car is going to be an easy target for meaningless damage because people think, I don't, what do people like? Do people think only Trumpers drive Cybertrucks? Do they think only raging? Like I'm not even really sure what the political alignment is on that.
I don't even think it is a political alignment. I just think it's because
people hate Elon Musk.
It's either that or because, and hopefully there's nobody here listening that drives a Cybertruck, but I'm going to say this. This is just my personal opinion. They look hideous.
Yeah, they're not very good-looking trucks.
No.
It's okay. You can say that. You can say it. It's your opinion. People don't have to agree. It's what makes sports radio great. It's what makes this show great. And this was a great show.
This was a good show.
I don't care what any of you say. This was a great show today. And thanks to all of you that tuned in and came along for the ride with us. We will do it all again tomorrow as we creep closer and closer to the Sooners season opener this Saturday against Illinois State. Football is on the horizon, and we will be right here for you every step of the way to talk through it from every angle. For Grayson Singleton, I am Parker Thune. We will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. The Rush is next with Teddy Lehman and Tyler McComas. Keep it here on The Ref.